Whether you're 18 or 38, it's never too late to get your first credit card. And whether you've got okay credit, no credit, or poor credit, I found the best 3 credit cards for you. This video is number 2 in my starter credit card series. My first video was on the best student credit cards, and those are ideal for college students. So if you're a college student and you're looking for your first credit card, please click on this video first because those credit cards are much better for you and will save you some time when you're just getting started out. But for the rest of us, this video is going to go over the top 3 secured credit cards. And secured credit cards pose little risk for banks, so it's very likely and virtually guaranteed that you're going to get approved for them. That's why these credit cards are great for those of you that have no credit or have fallen down the slippery slope of credit card debt. And if you've fallen into either one of those categories, it's okay. Life doesn't come with an instruction manual or orientation, anything like that, and we've all made mistakes. But the important thing is that you're here now to correct it. Speaking of instruction manuals, my goal for this channel is to help walk credit and finance newbies through the intentionally confusing world of money. So if you're looking for step-by-step guides or beginner-friendly help, feel free to hit the subscribe button down below for new tips and guides every week. All right, I'll get off my soapbox and we can get on with the video. So why are these cards great for building credit, and why do they pose little risk to banks? Well, they're great for building credit because they pose little risk for banks. Even though unsecured credit cards make banks a lot of money, last year they made banks $105 billion in just interest. They're still very risky because you could rack up credit card debt and then just not pay it off. And then even though that'll ruin your credit score, the banks are still out $10,000 or $100,000. But with secured credit cards, you have to put down a security deposit, which is essentially equal to your credit limit. This way, if you don't pay off your balance every month, the bank can take that deposit and apply it to your outstanding balance. But don't worry, if you are responsible and pay your balance every month, then when you upgrade or change credit cards or even close the account, you get that money back. Now, you might have noticed I said your starting credit limit is going to be very low, usually around $200. But let's remember, you're not getting this credit card to go on a shopping spree. You're doing it to help build or rebuild your credit score. So we're in this for the long haul.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad! You keep digging!
But don't worry, after about 6 months or so of using this card, your score goes up on average of 50 points. And you can do what's called a product change and upgrade this card from the secured version to a much better credit card with no impact to your credit score. So I promise you, there is a payoff for taking your time and being patient. All right, let's get into the best picks. Coming in at number 1 is the Capital One Quicksilver Cash Rewards. For this credit card, you need a 300 to 629 credit score, and 300 is the absolute lowest credit score that you can have. So essentially, no matter what your credit score is, it's very likely that you're going to get approved for this card. It requires a minimum $200 deposit to get a $200 credit limit. But if you have more money to put down, that is going to increase your credit score. So if I put down $500, then my credit limit is going to be $500. But after 6 months of using this card responsibly and paying it off every month, you will automatically get reviewed for a credit limit increase with no additional deposit. So that means after 6 months, your $200 credit limit could jump up to $1,000 or $1,500. Additionally, you get 5% cash back on the Capital One travel portal when you use it to book hotels or rental cars. So for every dollar you spend there, you get 5 cents back. If you spend $100, you get $5 back. So it quickly adds up. And then on anything else, you get 1.5% cash back. This card also has no annual fee, so you don't have to worry about paying to use the card every month. And I know that sounds kind of backwards, paying to use a credit card, but there are a lot of credit cards out there that you'll get to eventually that are much better and offer a lot more incentives and perks. And so that annual fee is worth it to get those perks.
Damn, what is that, bro?
With this card, you also have the ability to get pre-approved on Capital One's website. And so that means you can see if it's likely that you'll get the card before actually applying for it. And so this can give you a little bit of peace of mind getting pre-approved so you don't hurt your credit score further. But just because you get pre-approved doesn't necessarily mean that you're actually going to get approved. And I have a link for that pre-approval in the description down below. Coming in at number 2 is the Discover It's Secured. And you need a 300 to 629 credit score for this card, and it also has a $200 refundable minimum deposit. And if you deposit more, then that will increase your credit limit. Also, after 6 months of using this card responsibly, you also get an automatic review for a credit limit increase with no additional deposit. And instead of 1.5% cash back on everything, this card gets you 2% cash back on gas and restaurant purchases on up to $1,000 every quarter, and then 1% back on everything after that. So this means that you have limited cash back on that 2%, but you get 1% back on everything else. If you go over that $1,000 in a quarter, then it defaults to 1%. So if we break this down monthly, that means that you have $333 of spend every month that you can get 2% cash back on. Also, there's no annual fee for this card, and Discover also has a pre-approval tool on their website that I put in the description. Our last credit card on the list is great for those of you that have struggled to get other secured cards in the past, or you just have a very low credit score. And that's the OpenSky Secured. For this card, you need a $300 to $689 to get it, and instead of a $200 deposit, you can just put down $149 to get a $200 limit. Plus, that $149 can be paid over 60 days of opening the account instead of all at once. The best thing about this card is that it has no credit check whenever you apply for it. So that's why it's so good if you've struggled with getting other cards in the past, because they won't check your credit score when you apply for it. And if you get denied, it won't hurt your credit because they're not going to add an inquiry to your account. This card also doesn't require you to have a bank account to tie to it. And after 6 months of on-time payments, you're automatically reviewed for a credit limit increase with no additional deposit. Now on to the bad sides, is this card doesn't have a lot of great unsecured options to product change in the future. So like I said towards the beginning of the video, the ideal strategy of getting a secured credit card is to upgrade it later. And for this, you don't really have a lot of great options. But if you've struggled to get approved for other cards in the past, this is definitely one that you should consider, and then we can worry about upgrading later. And this card also has a $35 annual fee. And so that means after 1 month of opening the account, you're going to get charged $35 to use this card for a year. And then come next year, on the month that you applied for it, you're going to have to pay another $35 if you want to keep using it. What I would recommend doing for that is after that year, then I would recommend upgrading to a different card that doesn't have an annual fee, or you can even just close this account. But it may take you a couple years to get your credit score where it needs to be to get a better credit card, so you may just have to stick it out and pay that $35 every year. All right, those are the top 3 secured credit cards that you should get in 2024. Remember, you should only get a secured credit card if you've struggled to get other credit cards in the past, or you don't have any credit at all. If you don't have any credit at all, I would recommend watching this video first before you apply for a secured credit card, because I gave you a credit hack on how to greatly improve your credit score even if you don't have any credit history. If this video helped you out, I appreciate giving it a big thumbs up and hitting the subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on any other tips and tricks. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.